Hi guys, sorry to interrupt your video. Just a quick plea, subscribe to my channel please. If you haven't done it already, subscribe. Tell your friends, subscribe. Thanks. Okay, here we go again. Theory Test Pro. This time on a motorway rules. So we're going to go through those. I'm going to help you out as much as I can. Let's give it a go. Right, where should you stop to rest if you feel tired while you're travelling along a motorway? So let's see what our options are. On the hard shoulder. No, that is for emergencies or breakdowns only, or if directed to by a police officer or highways agency. At the nearest service area, perfect. On the slip road, no, and in the centre or on the centre reservation, no. Okay, all the others you're likely to get wiped out and killed, whereas that one you can have a nice little kip. So nearest service area. If you feel tired, stop at the nearest service area. If that's too far away, leave the motorway at the next exit and find a safe place to stop. You mustn't stop on the carriageway or hard shoulder of a motorway except in an emergency, when in a traffic queue, or when signalled to do so by a police officer, a traffic officer or traffic signals. Plan your journey so you can have regular stops. Quite right. Question 2. You're towing a trailer along a 3-lane motorway. When may you use the right-hand lane? Right. Okay, so let's have a look at this. There's a little bit more to this than meets the eyes. Right, let's have a look at rule 265. So the right hand lane of a motorway with 3 or more lanes must not be used if you are driving any vehicle drawing a trailer. Right, which is what the question was about, I recall. Yes, you're towing a trailer, but the official DSA guide to driving the essential skills, we go to page 231, which I funkily managed to photograph and zoom in earlier on. It states under lane discipline, right, there we go. I mean, obviously it says quite a lot, but actually I'll read this thing. Motorways with 3 or more lanes. Because of the volume of traffic on 3-lane motorways, many are being widened to 4 or more lanes in each direction. Keep to the left lane unless there are a great many slower vehicles ahead. It's possible to stay in the centre or outer lanes while you're overtaking a number of slower moving vehicles, but don't stay in these lanes longer than you have to, or if you are delaying traffic behind you, so always be considerate of others. Right, here we go. Drivers of large goods vehicles, buses, coaches, or any vehicle towing a trailer, as per the question, are not allowed to use the extreme right hand lane of a motorway with with more than 2 lanes, unless 1 or more lanes are temporarily closed. So if you have roadworks, then that rule goes out the window. You are allowed to use the far right hand lane. Okay, might as well finish it off. Don't stay in an overtaking lane longer than it takes you to move out, overtake and move in again safely. Make sure you don't block traffic which is not allowed to use the outer lane. There you go. Fine. Again, be considerate. That's what that's going on about. So if we go back to here, right, you're towing a trailer on a 3-lane motorway. When may you use the right hand lane? When there are lane closures. That's what it just says. When there's slow moving traffic, no. When you can maintain a high speed, no. When large vehicles are in the left lane and centre lanes, no. Because you're towing a trailer, you're only allowed in the right hand lane if there is roadworks. And you've seen why. Right, what's the national speed limit on motorways for cars and motorcycles? Right, cars and motorcycles, ping. Cars, motorcycles, car drive vans, dual carriageway or dual purpose vehicles, fine. Dual carriageways and motorways, it's 70. Notice if you are towing, when towing caravans or trailers, it is 10 mile an hour less. So it's 70 if you're on a dual or motorway, 60 if you're on a single carriageway, but it's just 10 mile an hour less if you are towing. All right. Right, so what's the national speed limit on motorways for cars and motorcycles? Well, we've just discovered 70. There you go. Travelling at the national speed limit doesn't allow you to hog the right hand lane. Always use the left hand lane wherever possible. When leaving a motorway, get into the left hand lane well before your exit. Reduce your speed on the slip road and look for sharp bends or curves and traffic queuing on a roundabout. Well, that's just common sense, isn't it? Crawler lane. Right. You're travelling along a motorway. Where would you find a crawler or climbing lane? Right. So let's have a look. What is a crawler lane? Bum, 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 bum. Pow. There you go. Start of crawler lane there. A crawler lane is a lane on the left that allows large vehicles or slow moving vehicles to use it so everybody else can just overtake them as they're going up the hill. Right, so that is a crawler lane, and as you get near the top of the hill it'll say crawler lane ending, and then it just goes back. Now anyone can use that left hand lane, but when you see a crawler lane you are aware that you've got a long steepish hill where you're going to be getting slow moving vehicles going slower and slower and slower. So from a car driver's point of view, I would automatically get into the left hand lane, but I would expect slow moving vehicles, so look long, and if you see one in the distance, start planning nice and early, checking your blind spot, and then move into the second lane so that you can pass them in good time. So where would you find a crawler or climbing lane? On a steep gradient. Yes, you would. Before a service area along hard shoulder. There you go. Steep gradient. You're travelling along a motorway. Where are you allowed to overtake on the left? Right. So, go and watch my video about overtaking on the left, or overtaking. You are only supposed to overtake on the left in built up traffic, so when you've got queues of traffic and the left hand lane happens to be travelling the fastest. So you often get that as you're approaching an exit, for instance, because everybody's getting off at the exit, but everybody who's not getting off is still stuck in a traffic jam. M25 is famous for it. So when you can see well ahead that the hard shoulder is clear, note when the traffic in the right hand lane is signalling right. No, that's in free flowing traffic. You may pass on the left when the vehicle in free-flowing traffic is indicating right. When you warn others behind by signalling left, nah. When in queues and traffic to your right is moving more slowly than you are. Perfect. Never overtake on the left unless the traffic is moving in queues and the queue on your right is moving more slowly than the one you're in. There you go. What is the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on a motorway? We just did this. So it's 10 miles an hour less than if you're not towing a trailer on a motorway. So therefore, it's 60. Speed limit for a car towing on a motorway, 60. There we go. When should you use the left-hand lane of a motorway? Well, that's the default lane for driving. So we should just use it all the time, unless you're overtaking. So, when your vehicle breaks down? No. When you're overtaking slower traffic in the other axis? No. When you're making a phone call? No. When the road ahead is clear? Yeah. When should you use the left-hand lane of a motorway? Just for driving. So when it's clear, just drive in it. There you go. You should drive in the left-hand lane wherever possible. Only use the other lanes for overtaking or when directed to do so by signals. Using other lanes when left-hand lane is empty can frustrate drivers behind you. It actually falls under Section 3 of the Road Traffic Act 1988. Which is basically driving in an inconsiderate manner and can attract the police and points on your license. So if you're a middle lane hogging, people aren't technically supposed to pass you on the left hand side, although it's only a recommendation. So you are basically blocking the middle lane because that's where you're driving, but people aren't supposed to pass you on the left, therefore you're effectively driving in two lanes. That's inconsiderate driving. That falls under Section 3 of the Road Traffic Act 1988. Therefore, the police will pull you. Simple. Don't middle lane hog. You're driving on a motorway and have to slow down suddenly due to a hazard ahead. How can you warn drivers behind of the hazard? What lights do we use to warn people? Hazard lights. So, switch on your hazard warning lights, which is the triangle in the middle of your dashboard or wherever it is on your car. Hit it, boom, all the lights will go on. Once you have been acknowledged. So once the car behind you is starting to slow down, they've seen the hazard, then you legally have to switch them off again. Okay. So switch on your headlights, sound your horn, flash your headlight. No, it's hazards. How's a car behind you going to see if you put your headlights on? What's all that about? Using your hazard warning lights as well as your brake lights will give traffic behind an extra warning of the problem ahead. Only use them for long enough to warn others to warning to be seen.